A man whose life seemed to be in order decided to surprise his wife. He left work early, without warning, with the intention of providing a special moment for the woman he loved so much. Carrying a bottle of wine and flowers, imagining the smile on her face when she saw him arrive unexpectedly. However, when opening the door of the house, it was he who ended up surprised. The scene he found left him in shock. His wife was in the arms of another man, laughing and exchanging looks accomplices. His world collapsed at that instant. His heart sped, the blood ran cold in his veins, and the weight of betrayal fell on his shoulders like a storm. But instead of shouting, making a fuss, or confronting them, he just took a deep breath, felt a sharp pain in his chest, turned his back, and walked out the front door without saying a word. The man walked aimlessly through the streets, feeling the emptiness consume his soul. He did not return home that night, nor in the nights after. Far from everyone, he abandoned his previous life and left the city, seeking to get lost in places where no one knew him. Without resources, he ended up becoming a homeless man, wandering the streets with only his clothes and the pain of betrayal as company. Months passed, dirty, messy, and hungry. He got used to sleeping on benches in the square, using newspapers as a blanket. On a Saturday morning, while sleeping in a lonely square, he was awakened by the sound of heavy rain falling on the trees. He rose quickly, seeking shelter under a nearby tree. The raindrops watered his face, mixing with the tears he tried to disguise. Hunger was a constant presence, and that day it seemed even more intense. Feeling weak and hopeless, he rummaged through his pockets for some forgotten coin. Realizing that I had almost nothing left, he felt a sudden urge to pray. With a choked voice, he asked God, "Lord, I know that I have lost almost everything, but I still have my faith. Please show me a sign that I am not alone in this suffering." After the prayer, he got up and, even with little hope, went to a pub that was nearby. When entering, all eyes turned to him, judging his sloppy appearance. With the little he managed to save in the last days, he bought a lunchbox, but was prevented from sitting at the establishment. The owner, with a harsh expression, indicated that he should eat on the sidewalk. He left the bar and sat on the cold floor, hungry, burning his stomach. As he opened the lunchbox, he felt the aroma of food invade his senses. Was about to give the first bite when he heard a weak voice behind him. "Young man, please can you help us?" He looked up and saw an elderly man, white hair and trembling hands, accompanied by two thin children and looking hungry. The man felt a lump in his throat when he saw their condition. The old man, with an almost supplicant voice, said, "We have not eaten for days. The children are very hungry. Could you share your food with us?" The man looked at the soup bowl in his hands and then at the hungry eyes of the children. He did not hesitate. "Take, you need it more than I do," he said, offering the food. "I ate yesterday, but I see that you are in a worse situation. You can eat everything." The old man smiled with gratitude and said, "Goodness is always rewarded, son. Your generosity will change your fate, I believe it." He insisted that the man accept an old coin that he took out of his pocket. The homeless tried to refuse, saying they needed more than him, but the old man insisted with a firm and tender look. Reluctantly, the man finally accepted the coin and saw the three move away, feeling empty but somehow lighter. Later, lying on the bench of the square, he tried to fall asleep, but hunger and discomfort did not leave him alone. He turned from side to side, trying to warm himself with the sheets of newspaper that covered him. Amid these old and dirty papers, his eyes fixed on an advertisement that highlighted, "Buy yourself old coins." A glimmer of hope came into his mind. He took the coin that the old man had given him and examined it. "Who knows?" he thought. Decided, cut out the newspaper ad, and rushed to the address indicated. Arriving there, the store owner looked suspiciously at that man in rags, but allowed him to enter. "Excuse me, sir," said the man, holding out the coin. "I saw your advertisement and would like you to rate this coin." The merchant took the coin, examined it carefully under the light, and suddenly widened his eyes. "My God, you have a real relic in your hands. This is a very rare Spanish coin of incalculable value." The store owner left to make a quick call and minutes later came back with a significant check. "Here it is. This coin is worth a lot. Please accept this check." The man looked at the check, hands shaking. He couldn't believe it was happening. He felt an explosion of emotion inside himself and, with tears in his eyes, ran out of the store. All I could think of was to find the old man and the children to share their luck. He searched all the streets near the square, but found no sign of them. Desperate, he asked a lady who sold newspapers if she had seen the old man with the children. She nodded affirmatively and said, "Yes, son. They were here earlier and left this note for you." With trembling hands, the man opened the note. As he read it, he felt a wave of emotion that made him fall to his knees. The note said, "Today you gave us your best, and therefore we return with love. Signed, God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit." There, sitting in the middle of the street, man understood that the goodness we spread around the world has a transforming power. He realized that even in the most difficult moments, his faith and generosity were rewarded in ways he never imagined. God, in his infinite wisdom, had observed every gesture of his and through an act of kindness, completely changed the course of his life. History teaches us that kindness and generosity, even in situations of extreme adversity, are rewarded in ways we often can't predict. The man who had lost everything chose to help someone who was in an equally difficult situation, even though he himself was hungry and without hope. This act of altruism turned out to be the turning point in your life, showing that when we do good without expecting anything in return, we can receive much more than we imagine. In everyday life, we may be tempted to act only when there is something to gain. However, this story reminds us that true goodness is one that does not seek recognition or return. Doing good, even in small acts, can have a positive impact on the lives of people around us, and these actions can come back to us in unexpected ways. Just as the protagonist kept his faith in the midst of despair, we can apply this lesson to our lives by not giving up even when everything seems lost. Faith, whether in a higher power, in our principles, or in human goodness, can give us the strength to move forward. In the end, the man was rewarded for something that seemed insignificant, an old coin. This teaches us to value what we have, however small it may be. Often, what seems to be little can have an immeasurable value if we know how to appreciate and use wisely. Even if we have little, there is always something we can share, be it a smile, a word of support, or even an act of generosity. History shows that by sharing the little we have, we can make a difference in someone's life and, at the same time, transform our own. These lessons encourage us to live with a generous heart, keeping faith and hope even in the most difficult circumstances. Life gives us back according to what we give to the world, and this is a truth that can guide our actions daily. I hope you enjoyed today's reflection. Share with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Resilience and Faith, and activate the bell so you don't miss any story. Until the next